Okay, hello there, I'm Dennis. Welcome to my channel, Life, Home, and my Linux Journeys. And in this video, I'm going to start my showcase, Linux showcases or alternative operating systems showcase, the ones that I use. And we're going to start today on FreeBSD. FreeBSD is on my MT7010 machine. This is what I lovingly call my creation station. So in the creation station here, my first distro that we're going to look at in my highlight showcase is going to be FreeBSD. So let me go over to my desktop here, and might as well start right here on the web pages. This is their homepage, the FreeBSD.org. This is where your journey will begin. You'll get your downloads here. Downloads is very simple. Just click on download FreeBSD. Choose your architecture. It tells you how to do that. The architecture for me, in most cases, is going to be 64-bit. Click there, and here you'll have all your images that you can download. I almost always get this one right here, DVD1 ISO. It's 4.5 gigs. So that's very simple to get the download to start with. Installing it is not necessarily the easiest installer, because if you're booting up and you expect a live environment like you see in a lot or most Linux distributions, you're not going to get that. You're going to get basically a terminal user interface, and that's how you'll install it, and that's how you will install packages and such. But I'll make sure this link gets here, because this is a really good link. Default shell. If you using BSD or you get it installed and you're thinking, well, what shell do I run? Well, it's not the normal typical bash shell. It uses a Bourne shell compatible SH as the default user shell. The root shell is the TCSH. Now, I believe you can change that during the installation if you so elect to. But the reason why I'm showing you this, I'm just showing you this is the documentation on FreeBSD. And it goes through all the processes of installing different packages using PKG or ports. Let me minimize this. And so this is FreeBSD. I'm going to bring up a terminal. And if I run a neofetch, you'll see this is FreeBSD14 with patch 5 already. My machine's been up 3 hours. Intel i5. Let's see. Now I installed FreeBSD. Originally, I believe it was 12. I installed FreeBSD on this machine originally February 6, 2022. So in February of this year, I've been using it 2 years. This actual system. Now I've used FreeBSD on other machines and other instances, but on this machine, steady running since February 6, 2022. Again, it's FreeBSD14 patch 5. It's got 8 gigabytes of swap, 32 gigabytes of RAM, and it's got a 250 gig hard drive. Let's see, if I clear this, we're not going to see much more here. Pretty name patch 15. Let's see, package management. Now, package management is easy. Really, it only uses a form, PKG. And from there, you install, search, remove, all kind of stuff through the PKG. It's very versatile. But you can also go, let's see if I can just go PKG, nope. Let's go man. And you'll get an extensive list here of all the things that it's capable of doing. And it's pretty extensive. It's very nice. Myself, I've created aliases, though, that do a lot of things for me that I do repetitively. Like for instance, I got an alias here for up all, and it updates, which here you'll see it's sudo pkg update. Then it fetches, which is right here, sudo FreeBSD -update fetch install, and then upgrade. That's what that is. So I just create aliases You know, you can always bring up the command alias if you don't know what the command really is. Most aliases I create in a way that work with the package manager, such as in Pacman, I use capital SYYU for update. Here, I would just use update or PKG update, and that's what I'm doing. All the packages are available that I would normally use. Most all of the packages that I use are available normally. You can see in my favorites list, I got OBS, which is running now, Kdenlive, Audacity, Krita, System Monitor, Simple Screen Recorder, Cheese, CPU-X, Color Picker. CPU-X is a really nice program. If you want to know if your system will handle Windows 11, you can find out right here. I think it's this SSE number, but you'd have to do your own investigation on that. I don't really care about Windows. Bring up some notes here that I've taken. Their homepage, we went to that. The init system is, they call it a BSD-style init system, so it's not system D, RC, open RC. It's none of those things. It's basically stands by itself. FreeBSD on package management is bundled with a rich collection of system tools as part of the base system. In addition, FreeBSD provides two complementary technologies for installed third-party software, the FreeBSD Ports Collection for installing from source and packages for installing from pre-built binaries. Now you can also use Portmaster, I believe it's called, and I do sometimes. I have in the past used that. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 just being totally easy, 10 being incredibly difficult on the installation, I give FreeBSD an 8 because you will have to be involved in the installation. It's not just click, 3 clicks, type your name, and you're done. You can also, for security, you can run a audit on it by PKG. That's another function of PKG, audit -F, and it'll tell you whether or not any software in your system is vulnerable to outside attacks. That's nice. I run that all the time. Not all the time, often. Both sudo and doas are available, and you can always sign in as root. And I'm going to try to keep this short, but FreeBSD, I've been running it like you see here for quite a while. And I don't know about the software and stuff. Most of it's going to be available. There's some programs that I use that it's not available. But in trying to keep this video short, I'll go back to my main view here. And let's talk about what I like about FreeBSD. I love their philosophy. They got one, let me just say, in Linux and System D in particular, there's a whole list of stuff that gets done in one process. With Unix or FreeBSD particularly, every process has its own little workstation, and that's what it does. And I've sort of gotten used to that, and I like it. And one of the reasons why I like it, if I have a problem, sometimes it's easier to figure that out because of the simplicity. You can tell where the system is broke and correct that sometimes. The documentation is very easily. The handbook itself actually rivals any other wiki, including the Arch wiki, which it gets compared to quite often. One thing I like about it as well, and this is going to seem weird, it forces me or any other end user to learn and seek out new ways of getting the same things done that you may be used to doing in especially Windows, but in Linux in particular. So it's just not a system that's going to stay. You're not just going to be able to install a program and expect it to work. You're going to have to install a program, learn how to make it work, and I think that's awesome. Now, I might be completely wrong with this here, but in my opinion, I think, might be wrong, that one day, if the stuff really hits that proverbial fan, like people are talking about, that Unix and Unix-like systems, which is FreeBSD, a Unix-like system, it's going to possibly make it through there because of that singularity of one little thing doing its particular job. And I mean, I just think that this Unix and Unix-like systems may actually survive the hitting the fan process. There are some things that I just really don't like about it. For me, though, I'll work around it and make it work. For a lot of end users, it might actually, some of these things might actually be a deal breaker, so to speak. But when I upgrade from 12 to 13, 13 to 14, what they say are called major releases, every time I've done that, I've had some little something that didn't quite work. And sometimes I didn't know it worked or even was missing until a week later, and then I would go try to do something and realize it was not there. Such as this last time, going from 13 to 14, I lost Audacity. It was not in my start menu. It wasn't in it was not in the binary packages. It just wasn't there. I waited about a week. I saw a video where somebody installed it. I went and tried it again, searched, and it showed up. So I knew it was going to be there. I just didn't know how long. VirtualBox is another thing. Several times it's just not worked, and it's taken a little while to get that patch installed, but it does eventually get worked out. LibreOffice was another one. It just, when I went from 13 to 14, it just pretended it wasn't there no more. Took it out of my menu, and I had to reinstall it. And by the time I noticed that, it was back in the repo. Some software that you may be familiar with and use in Linux is just simply not going to be available. GUI applications like GNOME Disk Utility and Mugshot are just to name two that are just not going to be available even as a port install. Even some software that you may get, you may find little stuff in that software that just doesn't function like you may be used to. For instance, in OBS Studio, when you dealing in particular with your sound or audio, some of that is not going to work. For me, it doesn't. So it might not work for you. And the primary gripe I have really is the major upgrades. This last time I seriously considered, I keep good backups, so I knew I had everything backed up. I seriously considered actually just burning the i14 to the ISO and reinstalling it that way, but I didn't. I stayed with it, learned a few things, and I got it to work. So some of those things might actually be a deal breaker. I'm saying that FreeBSD may not be for the typical Linux user. If you're going to use FreeBSD, you should expect to have to put in some effort and understanding. Some Google searches, for the most part, will just take care of it, or DuckDuckGo, or whatever it is you use. The answer will be on the internet for the most part. You may not like that answer, but it should be there. So I'm going to keep this video short. It's FreeBSD. Peace out, guys. Good luck. I'll talk to you on another video. Oh, bye.